What's good, gang? All right, we got another reaction video. Today we will be reacting to the homie Sam Reed, bro. This is a YouTuber I feel is wicked, underrated. Sam Reed. He has 315,000 subscribers, which is like that's pretty good. I would love to have 300, right? But for the quality he puts out, 30-minute videos too. 30, 20. It's like, in my opinion, he's performing at a 5 million subscriber YouTube channel, in my opinion. His videos are really well edited as well. I don't know who edits them, but they're edited extremely well. His ideas are so good. I mean, just look at these ideas, bro. 25 movie locations you can visit in real life. I saw this video. This is like over years. Like literally at least 1 year, full year of filming. At the original locations of my favorite restaurants. Yeah, like he went to the very first location of summer restaurants. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to him because I don't know. There's nothing more interesting than when you got someone that's working harder than a lot of other people. Like he stands out to me, and he's kind of like an inspiration a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's just crazy. Like this video did pretty good for him. This was crazy. Like this is what I mean. Ain't nothing but Taco Bell for 30 days. That's like he did like Super Size Me. He just did like the Super Size Me thing. Anyway, I want to watch this one. I didn't watch this one yet. And it looked pretty interesting. Turns out everyone's allowed in airport lounges. Spirit. Here we go. Let's go back.
The airport
Hold on, we gotta drop a like. Turns out anybody is allowed in airport lounges. Okay, here we go.
is a lawless place.
Crazy.
There's airport rude. Tired? Sleep on the floor. Hungry? Chips now cost $17. I just got a second mortgage on my house in case I get hungry at the airport tomorrow. I found these to be pretty true of my experience at airports, but recently I found out that it doesn't have to be that way. Turns out there are these things called airport lounges. And sure, I'm fascinated by the nice chairs and the peace and quiet and the amenities, but I'm also fascinated by the fact that these places allegedly have free snacks and drinks. I've always thought you could only get into airport lounges if you had crazy status with an airline.
Yeah, you do for some of them. I know that. The whole airline that I fly with, you need to. Because I wasn't even allowed in there. My mom was, because she could fly for free. At the time, I couldn't. So I remember I had to sneak in with my mom.
Like a bajillion credit card points. But, as it turns out, there's another way. So in this episode of the Studio Review, I'll be testing out 3 different airport lounges in 3 different cities to see what they have to offer.
That's what I'm saying. 3 different countries. Like, this guy really does it, bro.
The food is like, and whether they're worth the price of admission. When I first looked it up online, I found that my initial perception was partially right. So you can get into an airport lounge by 1, buying a first-class airplane ticket. You know, those seats you see on YouTube that recline all the way? I looked into it, and they cost literally tens of thousands of dollars. 2, achieving high mileage status with an airline. For the United Club Lounge, you need 75,000 miles to qualify for a membership. I just checked, and I have like 8,000 something miles, and that's the most I've ever had. So no shot there. 3, paying for a premium credit card. So a popular one is the American Express Platinum card, which has an annual...
That's actually that's not even... I think that's worth it. You have a really good credit card, because you probably should have one if you have a lot of money, you're traveling a lot. You probably just should have a great credit card, so that's definitely the one I would go with. Buying a first class seat, I think, is literally the biggest waste of money ever, because he's not wrong. They're really $10K. Like I said, I get to fly for free, so I've sat in a ton of them. Never once yeah, a couple times, actually. But I just have to say, dude, they're definitely not worth $10,000, $8,000. It's just crazy. I don't know. That's you really gotta have some money to be buying that. Like I said, when you fly for free, I don't want to get into it a whole lot because I don't want to get anyone in trouble or anything. Even though what I'm doing is there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. You never know. Because I don't want to be a hack or anything. I just there's a thing called a companion pass, and there's only everyone that works at an airline normally has at least one. And so anyway, I have one, like I said. And I was just gonna say the first class stuff though is crazy because it's so much more money, and it is better, but it's just Dude, if you just put music in and you just fall asleep. I always say, bro, I bring melatonin when I fly. Like, I really do. I really take melatonin right before I get on the plane. I just fall asleep on the plane every time. Like, there's no... So that's why, like, I've always, like... But I've also been flying since I was, like, literally, like, 3 years old. Well, I mean, I was flying when I was, like, an infant, but I mean, like, I can remember. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Of $695. And despite what this guy thinks, I can't afford that. So just for reference, in the video he's commenting on, I rented that van for $126, and that's only because I had a brand deal. So where does that leave us if we're just normal men?
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It leaves us with option number 4, paying to enter. And you guys, I was shocked that prices weren't like that absurd. Check this out. My journey begins at the Sydney airport as I
Wow, you had to go to Sydney, dude. It's so cool.
my way back home from an Outback Steakhouse in Australia.
Oh, yeah. I remember this video. Bro, this guy's a legend. He makes a trip, bro. He makes multiple videos out of one trip.
While I was at the airport, I looked for the gate where the flight from Lost took off, which was gate 23, but it was suspiciously missing. They had up to gate 22, and then they skipped a few and picked up again at like 25 or 26. Anyways, I discovered this lounge called the Plaza Premium Lounge. So this is a chain of lounges that you can find at a lot of major airports, and according to their website, they provide services to all travelers, regardless of airline or class of travel. That's good news for me and the rest of the plebeians in economy class. There was a sign at the desk that said they were only accepting some sort of member at that time, but the guy didn't say no immediately. He checked to see if there was space and then let me in. And as I was going in, I literally heard him tell the person behind me that they were full. And I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting, but as it turns out, the price of admission
bro? That's crazy. You were like the last one.
includes unlimited food and drinks and barista made
Hold on, I'm so
coffee.
confused. Did he buy a ticket? Did you buy a ticket?
And for all of that, I paid 35 Australian dollars.
Oh, that's a good. That's worth it.
Comes out to about 23 USD.
Oh,
And
damn.
just to be
I don't
clear
know.
here,
I don't
this
know why I was thinking that their money was going to be worth more for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
was for an
$25, dude. That's how much like anything cost in the airport.
hour, but the price of entry into this lounge was less than I paid for a chicken parmy the night before. As a side note, if you book ahead of time online, the minimum length that you can select is 2 hours, but in person they let me just do an hour. I found a seat to set my stuff down and then went straight for the buffet. It was breakfast time and it looked amazing. I immediately recognized the Australian bacon, which if you don't know is kind of my arch nemesis, but in addition to the food, they also had free juice.
Hold on, what? That's
Australian
supposed to be
bacon.
Bacon? Why do you guys call that bacon? Call that something else. That's not bacon.
If you don't know, is kind of my arch nemesis.
Don't call this bacon. Yeah, that would get me mad too. Why do people want to just make everything similar? Oh, it's like this. That is not like bacon. That's like ham or something.
But in addition to the food, they also had free juice and soda.
Ooh, that looks so like, I don't know why. I really like what that looks like. It's a well-designed thing.
And then this pancake machine. I didn't have
What the hell?
room on my plate, but I knew that I would come back for that. And I may just be a sucker for breakfast foods, but
I don't like that. I mean, even if the food's mid, like $25, dude.
I thought it was great. I went back to grab some of those pancakes, and I'm sure those machines are like fairly common, but I had never seen anything like them before. So I absolutely housed those pancakes, and
That's
then
fire, bro, and there's no mess, bro. I hate that about hotels, bro. You got like 4-year-olds making pancakes and waffles, and they just make a huge mess, bro, and they never clean it because they're like 4.
back for 2 more. Some other features in this lounge included a view over the tarmac, plenty of charging for my devices, instead of, you know, that disaster of a charging station you see at like Delta terminals. By the drink station, there was like a cookie jar, a jar of tortilla chips, and a jar of assorted gummy candy. The 3 major food groups. So I had a cookie and some gummies. All right, it was time to check out the bathrooms. These things were single occupancy, and I would say they weren't that much nicer than regular airport bathrooms, so maybe just more privacy and a little bit cleaner. The toilet paper said it was 2-ply, but it looked pretty thin to me. According to their website, there are in fact showers in this lounge.
Wait, bro,
but
did they tell you what toilet paper they have? Like, that's kind of crazy.
see where they were, and I didn't need to shower since I had showered a couple hours before this. As it was getting close to the end of my hour, I saw that they were switching the buffet over to lunch, but I wasn't sure how strict they were on the time limit. Like, would someone come and ask me to leave? But I figured it would be worth it to linger long enough to try the lunch buffet. I got a Coke while I waited, and I saw that my flight was boarding in 10 minutes, so I knew I'd need to hustle. But finally, they finished
10 minutes, bro. Hurry up, bro.
switch, and I grabbed a quick lunch plate of rice, stir-fried noodles, and some sort of chicken. And it was totally worth it. This
Dude,
was
that lo mein looked good.
delicious. So eventually I vacated the premises.
Bro,
and
for $25, bro? This man knows, bro. What?
need to check out or anything, so I guess the hour is just like the honor system. And I ended up making it to my gate in plenty of time because my flight got delayed. All right, so I'd still need to see how
I was
this
gonna
lounge
say, bro,
stacked
you were in there and there was only, and they were boarding in 10 minutes, dude. Like, you gotta log in.
against the other lounges that I'll visit later in this episode, but my initial reaction was that for the peace and quiet and an all-you-can-eat buffet, that was $23 well spent. Next up, I'm headed to
Dude,
Montreal,
next time I go fly, I'm literally gonna try that.
Canada to attempt to enter an Air Canada lounge. But first, I'd love to tell you about Factor. Montreal, I had a little bit of trouble locating the Air Canada lounge because unlike the Plaza Premium lounge, you had to go up an elevator to find it. I had read online that Air Canada allows access to their Maple Leaf lounges to the whole slew of patricians and landowners that we discussed previously, but then at the very bottom it says customers who purchase Maple Leaf lounge access. And then there's a range of different prices. I guess the less you pay for your ticket, the more you have to pay for lounge access. I was pretty sure my ticket was flex fare, or the cheapest one, so I'd be shelling out 79 Canadian dollars, which is roughly
Ooh, yeah, that'll never be worth it to me. $80.
58 U.
What? Wait, what? I thought our money was like really close to their money. When did that happen? I swear I remember looking that up like a couple years ago, and it was like $1.10. Like theirs is like like $1 of our money is like $1.10 of theirs.
I made my way up the elevator and tried to walk up to the counter with as much confidence as I could muster, even though I was looking and feeling very out of place.
Hello. Am I able to pay for access if I booked via Air Canada?
No, you have to book ahead of time.
Oh, okay, you have to book
Lounge
ahead of time.
access,
Okay.
Apparently they got me with that last part of the sentence, when you book your flight with us. I hadn't remembered seeing the option to book lounge access when I booked my tickets, and that's when I realized that there might be a tier of ticket fares below the ones listed here. And after getting back home, I confirmed that there was in fact a level below Flex, and that's what my ticket was. I thanked her and then headed back down the elevator in shame. I was particularly
Damn, bro.
because I'd been traveling for like 20 hours at this point and really wanted to shower, but I guess it wasn't in the cards. I did, however, want to make the most of this layover, so I went ahead and found another Plaza Premium lounge and paid for an hour of access for 35 Canadian dollars, which comes out to roughly 26 US
There you
dollars.
go.
This one felt different because it wasn't even like a separate room. It was just kind of a roped off area, so it felt less quiet and much less secluded. There also seemed to be fewer charging areas, and there wasn't even a bathroom in this one.
I'll give you a receipt if you have to go to the bathroom and then come back. Just keep it so you can just show it to me when you come
Okay,
back.
but if you ever need to eat in a what's it called, an airport, yeah, you got to do this method. Cause like I said, bro, a bummy meal is like $20 in an airport. A bummy meal, like you get a wrap, and like maybe a bag of chips for $20, bro.
Okay.
And that was like, dude, that was probably like 2 years ago. I have no idea what it's like now.
Out later that this lounge was a partnership between Plaza Premium and this company
So
called
like I said,
Deja.
I will never buy something in an airport besides water. That's the only thing I've ever bought. Like literally, dude. I always, if I'm on the way to the airport, bro, I'm gonna pick up some food, bro. You can bring food onto the plane. I brought a pizza on the plane, dude. Okay, I'm not paying all that money, bro. You're tripping.
And there's a much nicer Plaza Premium lounge in the international terminal of the airport. This one also included a bar, but I felt like there was less variety on the buffet. They did, however, have an espresso machine, so I got a latte. I grabbed some sort of veal meatball, rice, and ratatouille. And for dessert, I grabbed some carrot cake and like
That's like some good food, dude.
brownie thing. The lounge in Sydney had a departures screen that you could check for your flight info, and as far as I could tell, this one did not have one of those, but maybe that's because you could hear all of the airport announcements over the loudspeakers from where you were sitting. I was fairly full from the meal I was served on my previous flight, and I wasn't blown away by the food selection, so I don't necessarily feel like I got my money's worth at this lounge. My takeaway was that it was honestly not that much different
All right, but like, dude, how not though? Like all the food I feel like is worth that money.
from eating at like an airport restaurant that has charging ports. I guess the main difference being a few marginally nicer chairs and the all-you-can-eat nature of it. However, I was
And like, dude, you know how much airport food is too, dude. It's expensive. It's expensive.
for a pleasant surprise at my next stop. As some of you may know, I was recently in Texas filming an installment of my quest for the best wings in America, so I paid for
And if you eat at a restaurant, you got a tip. I don't think you got a tip there. So $26, you're not eating at a restaurant in an airport for under $26.
access to the
Unless
United
you got like breakfast or something. I can see that maybe.
at the Houston airport. It cost $50, which comes out to roughly 50 US dollars. Unlike the Plaza Premium lounges, this pass claimed that it was going
Why
to
did he just say that? It costs $50, which is $50.
which comes out to roughly 50 US dollars.
Bro, he just had to like match everything else. Like, why did he even say that, bro?
Plaza Premium Lounges, this pass claimed that it was going to give me access to the United Club at every step of my journey, including my layover and after I landed at my destination. Okay. Huge if true. So after you buy access, you just have to scan your boarding pass to get in, which is pretty baller. And you guys, my jaw dropped as I walked through this place. It felt like that scene from the Hunger Games where the kids from the districts see the Capitol for the first time. There was so much seating. They had these beige chairs everywhere, high-top tables with chargers, working cubicles, working closets, tables where you could sit and eat, a TV lounge, which was just more of those chairs, but this time with a small TV on the wall. I decided to set my stuff down in a less crowded area and go to the buffet. Working closets, tables where you could sit and eat, a TV lounge, which was just more of those chairs.
Dude, imagine you're sitting back here.
I'm with a small TV on
and
the
the
wall.
TV is that big? Like, maybe it's just like a perception thing. It looks like it's like a 40-inch TV max, dude. That's probably like a 32.
I decided to set my
just
stuff
random, like just buy a bigger TV. TVs aren't even that expensive, bro. If you're buying one, you could literally buy a 65-inch for like $300 at the right place, bro.
In a less crowded area and go to the buffet. I got lo mein noodles with chicken.
Ooh, those look terrible though. No sauce on them.
And some sort of sandwich. And then key lime.
That sandwich look good though.
With donut.
That looks terrible. Call me crazy. That looks terrible. That looks good. I don't really eat that stuff, to be honest.
For dessert. Sadly, their espresso machine was down, so I got a Coke from the bar instead. Before I tried the food, I realized that the charger in the chair wasn't actually working, so I had to use the outlet on the wall instead, like a peasant. As for the food, the sandwich was a little weird, and I think it had mushrooms on it, which I wasn't expecting, but the lo mein was delightful. At some point,
he looked at the lo mein.
I realized that this wasn't even the top tier United Lounge. So there's something called a United Polaris Lounge, and the website says that includes a full buffet and pre-flight dining. So I was like, wait, was this not a full buffet? So I went back and checked the description of the United Club, and they described what I just ate as light snacks. So if this was
Bro, it's a light snack.
Snacks, I can't even imagine what a full buffet and pre-flight dining would include. Polaris lounges also include showers and quiet suites, which
was he saying that they're
uncomfortable to me, but obviously much nicer than sleeping on the floor of the airport, which I have done before. You also have to fly business class to get into those lounges, but a man can dream. I went to check out the bathrooms, which turned out to be nothing special. They were not single occupancy, so they were basically like a typical airport bathroom, but with less puddles. You know how the counter at airport bathrooms is just like always absolutely covered in water? Yeah. The time came to board my flight, so I said goodbye to the United Club and said hello to a middle seat. In terms of being worth the cost of admission, I felt like that would depend on whether this truly got me access to the lounge at my layover or not. My flight took me from Houston to the O'Hare Airport in Chicago, and I made my way to the nearest United Club lounge. I just tried my best to act like I knew how this worked and scanned my boarding pass. At this point, I was starting to doubt myself. I was like 50% sure that I had misread the fine print and only purchased entry for one airport.
Bro, stuff like this is so nerve-wracking for no reason, too. Like, it's so embarrassing for them to be like, yeah, no, it's not how it works at all, bro. What are you talking about?
But I was psyched to see that thing light up green. Ooh. They also said, welcome, Mr. Reed, which made me feel like Adam Sandler and Mr.
So it's really $25 per one so far.
And the Jet's a choke artist.
I wouldn't say that, Mr. Deeds.
Just Deeds. Why is that, though?
You own the Jet's Deeds.
I rode the escalator up to the lounge, and this one might have been the nicest one yet. There was this chandelier above the bar where people were watching the Masters, and I assume discussing finance. I don't know why, but I was really...
Finance?
mood for some ice cream, and unfortunately I had to settle for some donut holes and a little chocolate almond bar thing. They also had some tortilla.
Dude, I hate stuff like that.
Which looked pretty good. I'll give you my final thoughts.
It's like a day old though.
About these lounges in just a second, but I just want to give you a few quick highlights. Unlike the other lounges, this lounge had some full couches. I ended up sitting at a booth where I could really spread out and lounge. I believe that's why they call them airport lounges. There was this little robot that had busing trays on it.
Bro, I used to work at Chili's, bro. Y'all know that, bro. And we had these things. I hated these things. They were kind of cool, but I hated them, bro.
And the bathrooms were nicer than the last one, but not crazy. And the latte machine was broken here too. This must be the rich people equivalent of the ice cream machine at McDonald's always being down. Also, you guys, this is not relevant to this video at all, but I saw a balloon land. I know people don't do this as much anymore, but over my lifetime, I've probably seen hundreds of balloons fly away. But have you ever seen one land? It felt like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I honestly could have fallen asleep at this point.
Bro, I remember people I remember arguing that with kids in my neighborhood at my dad's house when I was a kid. Because they would really think, I swear to you, bro. That's why education, bro. Lock in. These kids really would think that a balloon, like a balloon from the dollar store, you'd let that go, right? And it go flying. They really thought that would go into space. Like, I remember arguing with them about that. Like, I used to just be like, how do you think it goes into space, dude? Like, it's crazy.
Was reminding me with a way too up-to-date countdown that my flight was boarding soon.
Bro, think about, like, I know there is crap in our atmosphere, around our atmosphere, like, that's just floating around. But, like, bro, imagine if every single balloon ever, like, you know, let go was just in there. Like, that would be crazy. You'd probably be able to, like, see it eventually. Like, the rubbish just floating around the earth, like, spinning around.
Thanks to everyone that's upvoted my review of that Australian Outback Steakhouse. That is so funny to me. My final destination was a small regional airport that didn't have a United lounge, so I had to settle for a Brace instead of going for the hat trick. Alright, so are these lounges worth the price of admission? Just to reiterate, this is coming from someone who never flies anything but the cheapest economy seats I can find. I mean, I'm literally wearing a Buc-ee's t-shirt as I walk through this lounge. I guess now that I think about it, Buc-ee's is kind of like an airport lounge for the common man. All that being said, the total I spent to access 4 lounges was $99. So roughly $25 per lounge, which honestly is not as bad as I thought. I would say that if you're traveling with 1 to 2 people and have an hour or more before your flight, this could be worth it, especially if you do the United thing that covers every leg of your itinerary. Like if you
Yeah, I mess with this one. This one makes the most sense to me.
Had to go to a lounge at your departure airport, your layover airport, and your arrival airport, that would come out to be just $17 per lounge for all you can eat food and drinks. For the Plaza Premium lounges specifically, I'd say check out the lounge online first to see if it's worth it. Like the one in Sydney, definitely worth it. The one in Montreal, not so much. I recognize that this isn't realistic for everyone, especially, for example, if you're like a parent traveling with young kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, yeah, it would never be worth it buying it 4 times for, like, you know, your whole family, but...
Honestly only able to do stuff like this because you guys watch these videos, so thank you so much for being here. Before you go, feel free to help each other out in the comments, so drop your favorite travel hacks or airport secrets to help make traveling a little less terrible for the people who read them. And most importantly, just remember that even when it doesn't feel like it, it's gonna be okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you soon.
Bro, W video. So like to say, drop a like, drop a comment, obviously subscribe, bro, and have a good day, y'all.